Starting with this update from the Crypto Basic, an expert predicts XRP could be part of New Hampshire's crypto reserve next year. If true, that's huge. And then there's today's big headline: BlackRock discussing crypto with the SEC. Could an XRP ETF be on the horizon? The suspense is real. And yes, my voice rises because it's a big question. It's wild to think we're in a world where BlackRock, thanks to the latest election dynamics, is actively talking to the SEC about ways to solidify crypto's dominance. And let's be honest, do we really think BlackRock would sit on the sidelines when it comes to XRP? Not a chance. They're playing it close to the chest for now, but imagining a future without them launching an XRP ETF, that's absurd. Of course they're in the game. They're just keeping it low key for now, but never backing XRP. Yeah, right. When this news eventually breaks, and I do believe it's inevitable, it's going to be huge. Why? Because BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager with over $11 trillion, 0 cents under its belt, could shake up the supply and demand dynamics for XRP in a massive way. That's why this matters. We're not just talking about small ripples. This is long-term, decade-spanning, big money impact, monumental. But before we dive deeper, let me emphasize something. I don't have a financial background at all. This isn't financial advice, so don't go buying or selling anything based on my words. Always make your own decisions. All right, let's dive into this first topic. Expert says XRP could join New Hampshire's crypto reserve by next year. Here's what needs to happen. Fred Rispoli, a prominent legal expert and founder of HODL Law, believes XRP could be included in the New Hampshire Strategic Reserve by 2026. And let me tell you, this is bigger than most people realize. While the buzz outside this article paints it as a Bitcoin-only thing, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Sure, Bitcoin meets the criteria easily, no argument there. But let me be clear, it won't stay Bitcoin exclusive. No way. The door is wide open for other assets like XRP to step in. Why is this a game changer? We're talking about XRP potentially becoming a reserve asset for an individual state. Imagine the ripple effect, pun intended, as other states catch on. It's only a matter of time. Stick with me and you'll see why this has the potential to shake things up in a major way. Cryptos are on the rise and there's no slowing down. The journey marches on. Meanwhile, history was made on May 6th as New Hampshire became the first U.S. state to greenlight a state-owned crypto asset reserve. This groundbreaking move came after Governor Kelly Ayotte signed House Bill 3292 into law. The new legislation allows the state treasurer to purchase Bitcoin or, brace yourselves, any leading digital asset with a market cap of $500 billion, 0 cents. Yep, that's the benchmark. Sorry, Bitcoin maxis. It's not all about you anymore. Under HB 302, the state's crypto investment is capped at 5% of its funds. Now think about this for a second. What if that 5% is allocated to just a few major coins? Imagine Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP taking the lead. Throw in a couple of stable coins for good measure. If every state follows suit, boom, mass adoption shifts into overdrive. This is massive, folks. It's like hitting the jackpot. Seriously, that's how it feels. And here's the best part. This isn't just for tech elites or Wall Street pros. It's for regular people like you and me. That's the beauty of crypto. It levels the playing field. So congrats to you, truly. You're early to this game, and that's a rare gift. Just don't fumble the opportunity because let's be real, most people on this planet still haven't dipped their toes into crypto. You're ahead of the curve. Take advantage of it. Only about 5 or 6% of people on the entire planet, give or take, have dipped their toes into crypto. Barely a drop in the ocean. And less than 1% of the global population has ever even purchased XRP. Yet look at where the prices have already gone. Now imagine what could happen as adoption grows. Think about it. In the grand scheme of things, even fewer people globally own stocks. If you look at the global picture, it's not just first world nations, but every country, including developing ones, only about 16% of people own stocks. Don't quote me on that exact figure, but it's something shockingly low. Look it up if you want the precise number. The point is, it's a tiny slice of humanity. Now, here's the thing. Crypto has the potential to blow that number out of the water. Why? Because crypto isn't just about investing. It has real world functionality. The idea that crypto adoption will stall at the same percentage as stock ownership, nah, I'm not buying that for a second. Crypto is different. It's versatile, it's accessible, and it lets people actually do stuff. In these early days of crypto, that's exactly what it's being used for. Even 16 years in, we're still in the infancy of this revolution, but imagine billions of people around the globe holding different cryptocurrencies. That's where this is headed, given enough time. It's not a question of if, but when. With that kind of adoption, the potential for cryptocurrencies to surpass the market caps of individual stocks becomes clear. That's the key takeaway. We're witnessing history in the making, the dawn of a new financial frontier. I know it's been 16 years, but imagine this. 100 years from now, people will look back at today and say, wow, that was the beginning, the foundation of it all. And guess what? You're living in it. You're standing at the forefront of something extraordinary. There has never been an investment opportunity like this in human history, and you are lucky enough to witness it firsthand. So take a moment to celebrate yourself for being here, for paying attention. So many hear about this and dismiss it as magic internet money without digging deeper. It's natural to start with a bit of skepticism. It's even smart. But stopping there, that's where the real opportunity gets missed. Be curious. Look into it. Push past that initial doubt and discover why this moment, this opportunity might just be one of the most pivotal in history. That's the point I'm making. The story unfolds with a bold claim. Bitcoin is currently the only cryptocurrency eligible for New Hampshire's strategic reserve, with a staggering valuation surpassing $2 trillion, 0 cents, well above the $500 billion cents threshold. It's no surprise Bitcoin takes the spotlight. But here's the twist. Attorney Raspoli suggests there's still hope for XRP to join the ranks next year. Under the state's new law, any crypto reaching a $500 billion 0 cents valuation this year could find a spot in the reserve by 2026. Raspoli notes that if XRP somehow hits this milestone before the end of the year, it would share the reserve stage with Bitcoin under HB 302. As of now, XRP is trading at $2.35 with a market cap hovering around $138 billion 0 cents. For XRP to hit a $500 billion 0 cents market cap, it would need to skyrocket 262% from its current value. Now, let me be clear. I'm not here to make price predictions, and I can't say if this will happen this year or during this market cycle. But let me tell you, the idea isn't far-fetched. At $8.53 per token, it's not some wild fantasy. It's within reach. Considering how XRP has been held down for years by artificial suppression, that speaks volumes. Honestly, if the SEC hadn't stepped in the way they did, I'm convinced the XRP price we'd see today, or even in 2025, would be light years ahead of where it is now. It's exciting to see XRP finally gaining momentum, the market's catching up, but let's not forget the countless opportunities missed over the years. Think of the businesses, institutions, and individuals who might have invested in XRP but didn't, or the developers who could have built on the XRP ledger but chose other platforms instead. It's not the end of the road for XRP, far from it, but there's ground to make up. Even now, we're still feeling the effects of that past suppression. That's why when I see the $8.53 figure, it doesn't feel like a ceiling. In fact, it seems modest. You know, with enough time, who's to say? Maybe it won't happen this cycle, but those $8 0 cents to $10 0 cents predictions, honestly, they feel conservative. Those analysts might be on to something, but to me, their predictions feel cautious and conservative. If XRP soars beyond those expectations, I won't be shocked. Imagine this, XRP being held as a reserve asset by a US state, New Hampshire, for instance. How amazing would that be? A bold first step, right? I think so. But hey, that's just one piece of the puzzle. Adoption is the name of the game, my friends. And it's happening. Here's the latest from Cointelegraph. BlackRock Crypto Task Force explores ETP staking and tokenization. Wall Street titan BlackRock recently met with the SEC's Crypto Task Force to dive into the possibilities of staking in crypto exchange traded products, ETPs, and tokenizing securities. This conversation could be a major step toward boosting institutional involvement in the crypto space. Now, let's be real. This shift is happening because of how the election played out. Love or hate politics, the ripple effect is undeniable. The result? A tidal wave of money flowing into crypto, way more than we'd be seeing otherwise. And sure, some might say it's just the US, one country. There are about 200 countries in the world, give or take, depending on who you ask. Not every country is recognized by everyone, which is kind of wild if you think about it. Some say there are over 200, others say fewer, but let's set that aside for now. The United States, just one of those many countries, happens to host the largest capital market on the planet. If the US goes all in on crypto. It's game changing. We're talking about massive amounts of money pouring in and boosting the wealth of crypto holders everywhere, not just in the US, but across the globe. That's huge. That's why this matters. It just does. Localization. This is where things get really exciting, and it's exactly what matters most here. I won't dive into the entire article, but let's focus on the XRP ledger. It's built for tokenizing assets, plain and simple. Imagine a decade from now when nearly every financial asset on the planet, money market funds, T-bills, stocks, precious metals, you name it, is tokenized. The real question will be who came out on top? Spoiler alert, it won't be a one blockchain to rule them all scenario. Instead, a select few chains will emerge as the winners, each thriving in specific areas of financial tokenization. The blockchains that get adopted for specific use cases will see their native coins thrive as long as those use cases remain relevant. Even if we ignore all the other potential applications, and there are plenty, just one strong use case can drive lasting success. The XRP ledger, for example, has been serving its purpose for over a decade. While the world has been slow to catch on, the XRP community has believed in this vision from the start, and now it's becoming reality. On the XRP ledger, money market funds have been tokenized, treasury bills have been tokenized, even gold was tokenized way back in 2015. That's old news now, but it shows how long this technology has been ahead of the curve. And it's only the beginning. As more assets are tokenized, the possibilities grow. When major players like BlackRock start leveraging this potential, the impact could be monumental. There's no guarantee BlackRock will turn to the XRP ledger, but it's definitely in the mix. More and more firms are realizing the XRP ledger isn't just another blockchain, it's a proven powerhouse. Think about it. Would you trust your operations to a shiny new chain that launched yesterday, or one that's been battle tested for over a decade? Longevity matters, and it's not something you can fake or fast track. XRP has earned its place as one of the first movers in the space. With lightning fast speeds and transaction costs so low they're practically free, fractions of a penny, it's no wonder XRP stands out as a leader in its specific use case. It's not just hype, it's practical, efficient, and reliable. And when it comes to tokenizing assets on the XRP ledger, XRP itself is an essential piece of the equation. XRP plays a crucial role as the gas token powering every single transaction for tokenized assets on the XRP ledger. When investors explore the crypto space, they start thinking, hey, this XRP thing is actually useful. It's not going anywhere. That simple realization leads many to allocate funds to XRP. For countless investors in the years and decades ahead, it will boil down to just that: simplicity and utility. This growing confidence only strengthens the long-term success and relevance of XRP and its ledger. That's why it's so significant and why I'm emphasizing this point. We've believed in this vision for years, knowing it would shape the future. The key now is seeing a steady percentage of adoption flow to the XRP ledger. And honestly, it just feels inevitable, doesn't it? Of course, other platforms are seeing growth too, like HBAR, for example. But here's the real kicker. BlackRock is diving headfirst into tokenization. They've been discussing how securities like bonds and stocks can be tokenized under federal securities regulations. Why does this matter? Because tokenized securities bring massive benefits: faster settlements, lower costs compared to traditional finance systems, and the dream of 24/7 markets. BlackRock's already ahead of the curve with their tokenized U.S. Federal Debt Fund, BUIDLE. Yes, it's a cheeky nod to HODL. This fund boasts a whopping $2.9 billion, 0 cents market cap, making it the largest of its kind. And let's not forget the competition, like Franklin Templeton's Benji Fund. BlackRock knows what's coming. Everything is heading toward tokenization on blockchain platforms. It's inevitable. All I want is for XRP to grab a slice of that pie. That's it. XRP is already proving its value in other areas. And as long as adoption keeps growing, we're in a solid place. But that's not enough, right? We want to see more. And I truly believe more is on the horizon. And then there's the buzz today. BlackRock and the SEC talking crypto. Could an XRP ETF be in the works? The idea of BlackRock launching an XRP ETF is still just speculation for now. Back in late 2024, Jay Jacobs, head of BlackRock's ETF division, hinted that Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs would remain the priority, leaving out altcoins like XRP. However, many in the industry are optimistic. If Ripple can fully resolve its legal battle with the SEC, the door for an XRP ETF could swing wide open. Well, that's already a done deal, so we know where things stand. That said, Nate Karachi, president of the ETF store, suggests a filing might roll out once the regulatory storm clears, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. Think about it. BlackRock The world's largest asset manager isn't just going to sit back and let everyone else dive into a major coin like XRP. Let's face it, XRP is only going to see more adoption over time. Its market cap, it's not slowing down. Sure, there will be dips, but the overall trajectory is up. Years, decades down the road, it's going to keep climbing. You really think BlackRock's going to say, nah, we'll pass on that one. Just stick to Bitcoin or dabble in a few other coins? Be serious. There's room for multiple winners in the crypto space, and the idea that they'd ignore XRP completely, let's get real. It's not a question of if they'll get involved. It's just a matter of when. Let's put this into perspective. We're talking about the largest asset manager on the planet. Over the years and decades ahead, the money flowing through this could be staggering. Why does it matter? Because these ETFs will be backed by actual XRP. Here's how it works. Customers buy the ETF, not the XRP itself. BlackRock issues the ETF, then purchases XRP to back it on behalf of the customers. Simple as that. But the implications, massive. This is a huge deal. Pair this with tokenization, which is a whole other game, and consider everything Ripple and other developers are building on the ledger. Add in companies buying XRP as a reserve asset. It's all connected. It's honestly the most exciting time to be an XRP holder, especially when you realize how few people even know XRP exists. Congrats, you've arrived ridiculously early to the party. The hosts are scrambling, glaring at you for showing up before they're even ready. But hey, that's the best time to be here, isn't it? Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any decisions to buy or sell based on what I say or write. That would be a terrible, terrible, terrible idea.